In this video we're going to be taking a starter like this off a Rover V8 and making it into this, which is a nice usable object, very, very cheaply. You'll be surprised. Stick around. Right, it's Monday morning, bright and early. I was down at my local starter shop and they had 3 screws for this solenoid, but yeah, they were $1.50 each, which wasn't, I suppose it's okay. But that was the last 3 they had, because I was going to buy a packet of 10 just for future. Anyway, never mind, they ain't got none. So we're going to put this together. When I was looking back at this last night, I sort of realised that a lot of these Bosch starters are all identical. They changed this housing, but this bit remains pretty much stock standard. So anyway, there we go. I've put a little bit of grease in that needle roller. In fact, I'll put a bit more in because it doesn't matter if it squidges out of there. And then we can put this piece in. I think, yes. Now this piece should attach. Make sure everything's good. We don't want any grease or anything like this on here because it's going to stick. This is all plastic, so it doesn't need greasing. Maybe a little bit on the thread inside here. Well, it's not a thread, it's like a gear tooth. Let's put a little bit on there, because most of the time it will be covered over. In fact, we'll take some heavy grease off there. Yeah, that moves nice, doesn't it? Right, let's see if we can get this right, because we've got to line this up. 2 screw holes, and we want, so we've got 2 screw holes, got one through here, but there's a gap here, so I think that's 180 degrees out, which makes sense because it just drops right in. Dropped you right in it. So, knowing we've got that, we can, in that position, we can look for this, the solenoid, which I've put over here. Right, so now it's time to put this back together. I did have a, first time I did it, one of the screws wouldn't go in the hole, and what the problem was, I was fighting against this rubber here. It's got 2 pins, location pins in the back of here that goes in those holes, and that's to keep it in the right position, but note which way around it goes. It goes that way around. Logically you would think it would go the other way around, it doesn't, because there's a little cutout, an impression of a cutout here, which goes in here, this little cutout here. So when we put this together now, everything should just fly back into shape. Should do, provided it doesn't drop out again. They're a bit tricky, but not impossible. Got to line your bush up at the back. And then that bit goes into there, that rubber. There we go. That's one of these screws dropped out, but that's not too important right now. Yeah, because you're fighting against this rubber here. Ah, that's it. That's it, that's it, that's it. So we've got some little location pins on here, and here, and here. They locate there, puts everything into line. Now we're not fighting against that solenoid, we've got it the right way around, which helps. And now we can try and put some screws in. That's that in, that's that in. Now why won't this one go in? Is the thread damaged? You know something, I'm just going to run a, I know, sorry about that, I was concentrating on this. I'm just going to clean up the end of the thread of here, and I think it's damaged. Right, so I had to run a die down one of the bolts that holds this on. It was a bit annoying really, but I've got this back into its right position now. There's the thread holes for the screws. There's the big flat piece across the top where the starter sits on. The next cunning piece is this cover here. Which way around that goes? It doesn't look like it goes that way around. Should have taken notes. Because it can't go that way, because I'm just lining it up by the bolt holes. Ah, that's how it goes. So that's how it goes, look, it drops onto there. So there's little lugs on here, and they fit into these grooves here, like that, look, and it clips in. So then, with a bit of luck, all we have to do is put our end cover on our motor itself, like that, and hopefully the bolts line up. There we go. Now the next thing, the nut and the washer. We're going to just get a little bit of sandpaper, Emery, take the paint off that connection, a little bit of overspray on there, not too bad. There we go. Into there. And that should be it. So we'll get set up with a battery. We'll give it a test. So here we go. We're going to fire it up. See what it goes like. A lot quieter than it was before. That's it. Total rebuild cost $4.50. And that was from some very expensive bulbs. Now, maybe we chanced out on that thing, but because the brushes, we didn't have to change them, and the bearings and everything was good, well, there's no point changing them just for the sake of changing them. We've sort of said this before. But if the brushes, the little carbon brushes, are within 75% of new, because you can tell new ones because they're really tight in the housing, there's no real need in changing them. They'll last for years. I mean, this one's what, 2004? You know, so I mean, it's kind of old. What is it, 19 years old? So anyway, that's good. We can now put some crown rust proof on it, drink up, and put it in the bag, tag it, put it on the shelf, and forget about it, because they're not the sort of things that we sell every day. But knowing what we know now, with these parts all sort of being relatively interchangeable, if there comes a TDI starter in that's all broken up, I'll just strip off the parts of this and swap them over. Save a few quid, won't it? And genuine Bosch ones too. Much rather work on genuine Bosch stuff than Chinese. Anyway, I hope you liked it. I hope you could put something together from that. We'll see you later.